I would like to welcome each one of you to the GEC talk for today. My name is Rose Musema, and I'll be taking you through a few things here and there. It's going to be an interactive discussion, and I hope that we will be able to interact in one way or another. So, who is Rose? Rose's birthday is tomorrow. So, I was born on the 3rd of October. I am born in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics, and I'm currently pursuing my Master's in Public Health Nutrition. And a health educator. So today, which cape do I put on today as I present? I put on the cape of a peer-to-peer mentor, and rather than a clinical nutritionist dietitian, so that we can all be comfortable with today's presentation. So that is me, and let me give you a little bit of background about myself. Being that this is an English club, I came to Kenya in the year 2003, where my only spoken language was French. So I had to learn English just like the rest of you. So it's a very interesting thing to experience with all of you today. And I hope that you will feel at home during this presentation and we will be able to interact. I am glad that you were able to see the poster. It says, put on your oxygen mask fast, the gateway to a healthy you. And I think you will be asking yourself, okay, why would I put on my oxygen mask first? And one question I would like to ask each one of you is that, okay, what comes to mind when you hear put your oxygen mask fast? Anyone?
Can I say something? I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, my name is Perfect Judith, and from putting on your mask first, the first thing that comes to my mind is you can't pour from an empty jug. So if you want to help someone else, you first have to help yourself to be able to help others. That's the thing that sticks on my mind. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, putting on your oxygen mask fast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board, okay? And today we are flying the GEC plane from Goma, and we'll be flying all the way to different practical things of putting on your oxygen mask first. And I'm happy that Tathea was able to explain to us what she thinks by an oxygen mask. Now, giving that little introduction and flying a plane, does it ring a bell now? If you have flown before, you probably will notice that. Can you go to slide 5? Thank you. So when you hear put on your oxygen mask first, it's an analog that is used in aeroplanes for safety languages. So each and every time we fly, we are reminded that put your oxygen mask first. You know, these are preventive measures in case of an emergency. What should you do? Put on your oxygen mask first before you save anybody else. You yourself, save yourself first. And growing up, we've been told to be kind and courteous, but today I want to tell you something. Putting on your oxygen mask first is not selfish. Next slide, please. So putting on your oxygen mask first, it equals self-care. When you hear about self-care, there's so many things that run into your mind, but putting on your oxygen mask first equals self-care, equals a healthy you. Now, what is health? Next slide. Health is a state of physical, mental, and social well-being, and just not the absence of disease. So for you to be known as, okay, Flori is healthy, it doesn't mean that Flurry doesn't have any disease, but it talks about your physical, mental, and social well-being. And do you know what? Enjoying good health is a right of each one of you. So you have the right to having good health. And today we're going to be talking, when you hear putting on your oxygen mask first, we're going to be talking about self-care. And when we're talking about self-care, can you go to the next slide? When we talk about self-care, we will be hearing the word, can you go to the next slide? Yes. And the next one? Thank you. So when we are talking about healthcare, we're not talking about, you see, the little lady is relaxing in a bathtub. She has put on a nail polish. She has her phone. She has masks. I'm not sure what the men in the house actually do for self-care, but today that is not the form of self-care that we are talking about. We are talking about self-care for life, self-care for everybody. Next slide. So what is self-care actually? Self-care is the action that you as an individual, you take to develop, to protect, to maintain and improve your health and well-being. And isn't it interesting that we can see self-care in that form? And the number one form of self-care, next slide, please, is choices. Choices. Every single day when you wake up, you have to make a choice to be on this Zoom meeting. It's a choice that you have made, right? You have an option. You sitting down and saying, I don't feel like doing anything, I am not going to answer to that person. That is a choice that you've made. And choices, when they are intentional, they make us, they bring decision making and order into our lives. They make them easier. They enable us to set goals and objectives. And these goals should be evidence-based, because we can make different choices in this world, but if the choices we make, they're not beneficial, then we will experience different things. Now, next slide. Now, when we decide to make choices, or when we decide to take action to actually develop, to protect and improve our health and well-being, we are actually dealing with our emotions, with our physical, with our social and spiritual being, because all these things cannot be separated. We experience emotions. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad, sometimes your body doesn't just feel like moving. We interact with people on a day-to-day basis, and I believe in one way or another, we believe in a supreme being, and that is part of self-care. Next. And now, welcome on board, because on this plane of GEC today, we will be talking, or we'll be looking at just a few practical ways to practice self-care. Okay, so you can see a picture of a young lady and a young man, meaning self-care is for all, self-care is for life. Okay, so the number one self-care, or number two self-care practice that is tied to choices is exercise. That's the next slide, yeah? So what is the exercise? It's a form of planned activity. It's structured. It's something you do repetitively, meaning you do it each and every time. And it's performed with the intention of having of improving your health and your fitness. And you can see that you do not need to go to the gym to do exercise. There's somebody stretching there, another one with a hula hoop, another one with weightlifting, stretching, skipping rope. There are different forms of exercises, including bike riding. And for exercise to be effective, for your body to experience all the benefits of exercise, you need to decide the type of exercise you will be having, the time So you say, okay, I'll be running every single day at 6 a.m., at 7 p.m., whichever you choose. The place, you say, okay, I'll be running from this place to this place at this time. And if you are one person like that enjoys exercise with different people, then you bring other people on board and say, okay, I will be doing exercise with Flori. I'll be doing exercise with Sylvie. So we let's plan. And how many times a week should we be doing? And it has been proven that 15 to 30 minutes of exercise per day is beneficial for our health. Okay. So that's one of it. Another one will be healthy food choices. Okay. I am a nutritionist, and I cannot miss this. Making healthy food choices helps, that will be the next slide, helps provide your body with nutrients it needs to help you look your best. Who doesn't like looking amazing, radiant, and help you perform in your daily tasks, even in the activities or exercises that we have talked? It also prevents you from diseases. Healthy food choices begin at your plate. Okay, it begins at your plate. Of course, it will begin in your kitchen. It will begin in your farms, but you have to make a choice. And we say choices have consequences. So even healthy food choices, they have food choices have consequences. So you can see a plate over there, and let me explain the little plate in a bit. Okay, so half of your plate, make sure that at least every day you have fruits, you have vegetables, and you can see that half of your plate consists of your fruits and vegetables. And then the other quarter consists of your grains. It could be different types of grains, because it could be your beans, your lentils, your green grams, all those should be there. And your protein, both plant and animal protein. Your fufu is also part of your grains. Your dairy products, you see, it's at least a small portion of it. And can we go to the next slide? And there's something that the next slide will show you that this previous one did not have, is water. Make water your food of choice. Not only water, but stay active. At the bottom there, you can see a little man running, staying active. Don't just sit in one place for the entire hour. Now, the next slide, please, will be another form of self-care is journaling. Why are you journaling? It's writing your thoughts down, your feelings, and so that you can understand them clearly, so that you can prioritize your problems, your fear, and you track your symptoms or emotion on a day-to-day basis, because the world is full of different people, different things, different emotions. And it provides you an opportunity to be positive and talk to yourself and identify the thoughts that are negative and behaviors and arrest them at the right time. Okay, so we go to the next. There are many types of the different types of journaling, okay? And there's a whole list that I have put on the right. There is basic journaling, where you just journal about anything. There's morning pages, where every morning you write something. There is bullet journals, gratitude journals, prayer journals, project journals. But allow me to introduce you, next slide. Allow me to introduce you to a gratitude journal. Why gratitude? It could be morning, it could be evening, afternoon, whichever. Write at least 3 things you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be 10. It can be 3 things you are grateful for. What is the best part of your day? People you're grateful for that single day. And what are you learning from the challenges? So you name a challenge and say, what did I learn from it? It helps you to be positive in everything that you do. Okay. So that's another type of self-care. And then we have rest. Why rest? Good sleep enhances learning and improves productivity. That's the next slide. So, it's a choice to have irregular sleeping time or sleeping pattern. It's a choice for you to say, okay, I'm not going to sleep early. It is recommended that we should sleep 7 to 8 hours a day, okay? So that we can experience so many benefits, so we can feel rested and all that. So how are we going to get better sleep? Let's learn to value sleep, because we do not prioritize or accomplish things we do not value. Secondly, set up a regular bedtime or ritual that you will be following. Okay, I'll be sleeping every day at 9 p.m. and wake up at this time. Exercise before sleeping. So, our exercise could be in the morning or could be in the evening. Eat light in the evening. They say eat like a king in the morning, like a queen in the morning. Lunchtime, it's like a king. Eat like a king in the morning, a queen at lunchtime, and in the evening, eat like a poor person. So eat lightly so that the food is digested beforehand, and avoid watching exciting or depressing movie. In fact, if you can remove movies out of your sleeping routine, the better. Keep your phones out of the room. Don't sleep with your phone under the pillow, waiting for somebody special to call you or anything. Just keep it out so that you can have good sleep, you can be well rested, and tomorrow you are up for your tasks. And finally, we have relationships, which is the very almost last slide. Relationship could be in form of family, friends, and family, friends, acquaintances, colleagues. And we need to set boundaries. How are we going to relate with our friends? What are the type of things we will allow from our friends? What are the type of things we will tell our friends? Friends are chosen and they are not fixed. They are not family that you keep forever. They say birds of the same feather flock together. So you have a choice. Unlike your family, you did not have a choice to be in that family, but for your friends, you have a choice. Good friends empower you. Good friends, a good support system. Good friends, when you talk to them, you feel rested, relaxed. So they are part of they are part of your spiritual and social self-care. So the next slide, please. So types of self-care, all those self-care we have talked about, they fall into different categories: physical, emotional, social, and spiritual being. All these contribute to us having or developing and protecting and improving our health and well-being. And in turn, we will have a productive day. Now, the next slide. So self-care is more than taking a spa day, and it isn't selfish. The next slide. Saying no is an act of self-care. Paying attention to your need is self-care. And like putting on the oxygen mask, you'll have more energy for others if you apply it to yourself. If you journal away your stress, if you do exercise, if you eat right, if you make the right choices, if you rest, you have meaningful relationship, then you'll be able to help others, and be the light in people's lives, and also improve yourself. You have that extra energy. So I urge you today, the next slide, welcome on board. Self-care is essential. Put your own mask on first, okay? Because self-care is the new healthcare. Next slide. Self-care is the new healthcare, okay? Next slide. And self-care is for life, because as Parfait said, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself first, then you'll be able to take care of the rest. The last slide says healthy lifestyle. Eating right, doing your exercise, journaling, having meaningful relationship. All this, the last slide, brings up a healthy lifestyle. So that's it for today's presentation. And I hope you enjoyed. We will have a few minutes for questions on self-care and putting on your mask first. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Rose. It's exactly 6:30 in where I am, and it's raining heavily. I will welcome quickly a few questions and interactions, then we'll be able to conclude. Thank you. Maybe as we wait for more questions, if we may have, I would like to ask Rose. So to what extent do we go with self-care? To what extent, how much is very much that I may not care so much for myself and not care about the rest? I would like you to appreciate a little bit about how far can one go in terms of being healthy to himself.
How much can one go? The question will be, Flori, do you value yourself? Because you cannot value others if you don't value yourself. We value wealth, we value we value money, we value wealth, we value our friends, we go an extra mile for our friends. But have you ever paused and asked, what about me? Okay? What about me? Because health is the greatest wealth you can have. And these are simple, practical things that could help you be in a better shape. And how far you can go with it is that you have to plan your day in a way that you can be productive. For example, you cannot do exercise for the whole day, I can say for 24 hours, right? So you schedule them. You put a to-do list in the middle there. So there is no limit in how much self-care you can have for yourself. But you are responsible for your own self-care, but you may not be responsible for somebody else's self-care. However, we say monkey see, monkey do. When you take care of yourself, other people will see the benefits of it in you, and they will want to ask you, what are you doing? I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, thank you very much. There is a question in the chat as well. Maybe I'll just read it. It says, who is the self for collective problems? If I get it right, so if we are all caring for our problems, who is the self for the collective problem?
That's quite a challenging question. For collective problems, maybe if the person could, clarify for me a little bit.
Hello, I am driving. I can't, my attention span is off, but some of the problems we have are not just individual, whether it is in a relationship, whether it is at the church, whether it is at the workplace. Some problems can be a collective problem. So I just wanted Rose, if she's aware of some problems that attack the collective, not just the individual person, and then what becomes self in those cases.
Okay. I may not have a perfect answer for that. Yes, we have collective problems, but are you aware that for you to be able to realize that let me give a scenario of a family setup where people are having issues in the family. It's very hard for us to identify those issues. Well, as ourselves, we have not formed good mechanism to actually be able to stand on the other side and see that, okay, this is a problem in the family. For example, if you deal with different stresses, okay, and you've gone for therapy for it, you're at a better position to identify, my sibling Sylvie is experiencing this, and therefore I can be able to give them this and this advice. But again, we are not you are responsible of your problems, but this may sound selfish, but you may not be in control of other people's problems and illnesses and all that. But again, when we do our part in a community, because communities have their own, can I say, solutions. Okay, communities have solutions, and we can be a part of that solution when we begin from us. What is our contribution in that? And so when we begin in taking care of ourselves, then it is easier to take care of others.
All right, thank you very much, Rose. And with that, indeed, beauty is short-lived, and some things are more precious because they don't last long. And so the meeting has also come to an end, and we'll be getting back for more interesting discussion. We would like to thank you, Rose, very much, and hope to have you again for more discussions. Thank you.